Good morning. Thank you for still keeping us company right here. You're watching Good Morning Kenya. And in not too long, we're going to be talking about pension schemes and what are the advantages of having such in your plan. You know, you do not have to wait until you're almost retiring to start saving or rather investing in such a scheme. But before we get to that, let's look at what we have on the papers this morning. I have a copy of the Standard being the 29th of June 2022. Just in case you haven't filed a tax returns, you have around 30 to 24 hours give and take to do so. The deadline is tomorrow. Remember, kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea, so to speak. Yeah. So on a nutshell, front page of the Standard, it's all about, you know, the elections that are just about 40 days away. And as we say, you know, life begins at 40. So these last 40 days are going to be very crucial. We are anticipating to get to hear what Kenya Kwanza is going to have in store for Kenyans as it unveils its manifesto tomorrow. But aside from that, Raila Karua, this is how we will govern. Now, in an interview that was televised by various media houses, including our very own KBC Channel 1, and we had our reporter Nancy Okware there ask questions around matters of health, and she did an exemplary job just trying to put, you know, at level when it comes to matters of health and what plans that the two have going forward if they clinch the top seats. This was televised, and you can get a sneak peek just in case you missed this. You can get it on our YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1. Now, Azimio la Umoja has given 7 demands to IEBC. They pertain the list of a list that is certified copy of the register of voters, including their names and ID numbers, the ballots, the design of the ballot papers, and location of the contracted press. Training curriculum of training for election officials and training dates, transfers, names of officers involved in illegal transfer of voters and the action taken. Management, this is emergency phone contacts for all officials manning critical poll areas. Technology, the number of KIMS, kit functionality, status and distribution plan. And last but not least, centers, the names, physical location and connectivity of all polling stations. Now, these are just 7 demands that have been issued by the Azimio flag bearer and his running mate, Martha Karua, you know, to the IEBC on 7 issues that we have just named there that they want addressed ahead of today's meeting with the 4 candidates there. IEBC is going to be meeting the 4 candidates, so we'll be keeping tabs on that and if these 7 demands are going to be met. Talking about Kenya Kwanza, now Kenya Kwanza is banking on a new strategy of signing charters and with interest groups to lock votes as the race to State House gets tighter. Yesterday, we saw them running simultaneous economic forums spread across the country. We had some happening in Kitui, so to speak, and now targeting this charters, targeting children. Last week, we had them have a forum and a charter with education stakeholders. This is part of their strategy to ensure that they clinch the top seat after the August polls. Now, there's a special report in this particular daily also after August 9th, ills that may cost politicians their seats. This has happened before. Now, in the heat of the moment, politicians are using all tricks to emerge victorious, but down the road, this will come to crush their dreams. We revisit some of that have led to nullifications. Just allow me to look at those ills so that we can know who is walking the wire, so to speak. So, academic certificates, a hotly litigated issue for Nairobi Senator Johnson Sakaja, could be a thorn in the neck in the long run should he win the gubernatorial race, as happened to Wajir Governor Mohammed Abdi Mohamud. You know, both the High Court and the Court of Appeal nullified Mohamud's election on account that he did not have a valid undergraduate degree, certificate and a master's degree from Kampala University to contest for the seat of governor. You want to, you know, look at the other ills that may come to haunt the political careers of these leaders. Well, you can get yourself a copy. Remember, further details will always be available on our website. That's just about a sneak peek of what we have on this particular daily. Doreen.
Just start you off with what the PD is holding for you this Wednesday morning, and it begins off with actually what is set to happen today in respect to IEBC meeting the 4 presidential candidates. It had planned for that, and they're set to do that this morning. So the main header just goes: fireworks looms at today's IEBC talk with the big 4. As I say, those are the 4 presidential candidates, and so it's expected to be expected to be on the agenda are the thorny issues of IEBC failure to make public the KPMG audit report. IEBC just released the numbers and figures of the people that are supposed to participate in these elections in terms of the voters there. They released the figure of the 22.1 million registered voters. It also just in the audit report, it released those that had been removed from the register due to various reasons, such as duplicate documentation, not registering the proper copy of the ID, as well as the dead voter. So those are just some of the details they released, but they did not put it to the public. And so this is some of the issues that will be coming out. Also other issues as this meeting comes to fore today, but is also that issue of the digital register versus the manual register. This is what all these candidates and also a section of Kenyans have been urging the IEBC to do, to ensure that they also can use that complementary mechanism, as we say, which is the manual register. But even as it stands, IEBC has still remained steadfast, saying that the digital register is what will be of priority, and that is basically what they're going to use. So even as this meeting is coming, today's meeting just comes at a time when both Ruto and Raila, together with their allies, seem to be reading from the same script on several issues, among them also the need for IEBC to provide details on the printing of more than 120 million ballot papers. And again, also as Raila Odinga, together with Martha Karua, speaking to a section of journalists yesterday, these are some of the issues that they raised in respect to this meeting that is supposed to be happening today with the IEBC, just saying that also IEBC needs to really come out open and say how they are able to procure some of these materials, like the BVR kits for transmissions, the KIMS kits for registration, and also the ballot papers, the printing, and how they were able to get all these materials that they are going to be using during the election. So we wait to see how this meeting will pan out, and if at all these issues that the candidates are raising will be ironed out. And also ballooning prices of maize flour chokes shoppers. We also have had this story on our GMK news brief, whereby the agriculture CS right now paves the way for duty-free importation of grain, and this is to increase supply in the hope that it might bring down the cost of maize flour, which right now, as we said, it's retailing at about 200 to 213 in some areas in the country, and this is expected to run in the next 3 months, so up until September. So again, this is supposed to begin this Friday, and obviously what we hope from this is that perhaps the price of maize flour will at least go down beginning this Friday. And lastly, on the PD, state now disburses 1.2 billion relief to hunger-stricken family, whereby so far the state has disbursed 1.1 billion since actually this program began. That is the cash transfer program. This is for the poor and vulnerable households in areas of Marsabit, Wajir, Mandera, and Turkana. This is to cushion them against drought shocks. This money, they say, has been disbursed through the National Drought Management Authority under the Hunger Safety Net program. And also the figures, as it turns out, in fact, as we speak so far, 4.1 million number of people in need of food assistance this month has increased from 3.5 million in May, and this is due to poor short and long rain. So that is what the People Daily is holding for you. And just quickly on what the Daily Nation has for you this morning, matters to do with debt in the country. This is even as Parliament approved the 10 trillion debt ceiling just to finance the 3.3 trillion budget. It also matters to do with election, the zoning that Azimio la Umoja is employing, and basically what candidates are saying in respect to that. Again, we are waiting to see also how this will turn out, given the fact that they have up until Thursday for this particular party to ensure that they come up with a list of candidates for the purpose of gazettement by the IEBC. And so that is what the different dailies are holding for you this Wednesday morning. Time for us to take a very quick breather. When we return, Regina is going to be having a very candid discussion, so stay put for that.